Hello, it's Amy, and as you can see, I've got a box that came in the mail today, and it's packaged up. I think this is the first time I've ever got packaged peanuts, foam peanuts, or whatever you call them. There's an assortment in with the book, but I guess it makes it extra protected. Um, they're just kind of thrown in here randomly, but we've also got bubble wrap. And I believe this is 2 books. At least it should be 2 books. We're going to be finding packaged peanuts all over my apartment. Let's get that out of the way. Unwrap. I can just slide those out. So, wrapped in paper and taped together. This is going to be my receipt. We've got the business card from Lloyd Zimmer Books and Maps out of the United States. I'm assuming that KS likely stands for Kansas because I can't think of any other U.S. state that begins with a K. So I believe this is a bookseller out of Kansas. But what we have here are 2 books by Agnes Repplier. And Agnes Repplier is a early 20th century, late 19th century essayist who I've been reading a little bit of lately. I've acquired 3 of her collections already and leisurely read my way through those. One was a collection on tea. The other had to do with authors and reading. And the third had a lot to do with child rearing and what children should and shouldn't read and how children behave, which I found quite interesting. But here we have a book called Points of View and one called Varia. And I think Varia might actually be a fictional book. And I'm going to be honest, based on some of the descriptions and some of the cover art I've seen for her works of fiction, I am a bit concerned that her works of fiction haven't aged well, but we'll see. I think I'm going to need my knife here. And there's my knife. Just to gently cut through this packing tape that's holding the books together. And then from here, I'm just going to use my fingers to avoid accidentally cutting into the book. And I'm going to admit, part of the attraction of these was how beautifully they're bound. They're apparently from a private library. They've got a bit of rubbing on the spine. But I saw these. They were within my price range. And I was looking to purchase some more by Repplier. And I thought they're just too beautiful to pass up. So we've got these marbled boards. And I'll just look at this one before we open the second one. But we've got, let me get this paper out of the way. Oh, that's still attached to the other book. But it has a previous owner, previous institution's library book plate here. It's a book plate, but it belonged to, I believe, a Masonic library. And both of them are from Mason Lodge Library. But we've got the old library sticker here, beautiful marbled end papers. And there is a little slip of paper in here providing us with some information. Published in Boston by Houghton Mifflin and Company, 1897, half leather, hardbound, good plus. I don't know what good plus means. They look good to me. No dust jacket, 232 pages, private library bookplate on front, paste down, ink stamp of Masonic Lodge is seen on the upper edge of the text block. Light wear on the spine where a library sticker was removed. Leather is a little rubbed and faded along joints. And so these were $25 US. Well, this one was $25 US. We'll have to check the other one when I open it up. I think it was about the same. There may have been a difference in shipping, which was odd. So yeah, I think here is where perhaps there was a library sticker that left a bit of a mark. But these are absolutely beautiful. And they just feel firm and right to the touch. And so I'm quite glad to be able to add this to my collection. So there is our title page, 1896. And this binding is very, very tight. The pages are unmarked. I think if I read it, I'm going to have to hold it very gently open in my palm like that. Because despite the wear, the text block itself is so tight that I'm not sure it's ever actually been read. So maybe it's the sort of thing that sat on a shelf somewhere and got worn simply from being handled, simply from, facing out into a room. But yeah, so here we have the second volume. This is Varia, bound exactly the same. We've got the same evidence that there was probably once a library sticker on there. And we open it up. We've got another slip of paper here. So this one is 1897, whereas the first one was 1896. And I'm just noticing that I think these slips of paper may have been mixed up, unless I just confused myself pulling them out of the books. But yeah, we've got this lovely little Riverside Press printer's device. Copyright 1897. Contents: The Eternal Feminine, The Deathless Diary, Guides of Protest, Little Pharisees in Fiction, The Fête de Géant, Cakes and Ale, Old Wine and New, The Royal Road of Fiction, and From the Reader's Standpoint. And Cakes and Ale is the name of a book by W. Somerset Maugham. And so I'm wondering what the connection between the title of that section and his book is, if any. Once again, very tight. Somebody's mathematical equation in the back. Set of 6 volumes. Does that imply there were 4 more volumes that this bookseller had at some point? Because I was only able to find 2 in his listings, and that was it. So that implies that either he sold the 4 or the set was broken up before he had them in his stock. And I'm trying to tell if this is essays or a novel. I think this is once again more essays, which is nice, because that's what I was looking for. I had my doubts based on the title, whether it was indeed essays or whether it was a novel. I think we have essays here again. And points of view, also essays. Yeah, 1896. No, the pieces of paper were correct in the book. I just set them down and got myself confused. Yeah, so this is a 7th edition, copyright 1891 initially. Points of view, a plea for humor. Contents: A plea for humor, English love songs, books that have hindered me, literary shibboleths, fiction in the pulpit, pleasure a heresy, esoteric economy, Skanderbeg, and English railway fiction. And so, yes, 2 more volumes of Agnes Replier's essays. and these are absolutely beautiful. These might be now the most beautiful books that I have in my collection. Perhaps the only exception would be my Hugh Thompson illustrated large-scale J.M. Barrie plays, Quality Street and The Admirable Crichton. But these come in a close second.